Hello, everybody. Um, I want to talk about the beast and the beast system. And the beast system is capitalism. Now, I just got a message saying that capitalism is not the problem. It absolutely is. It is the root of all problems. Um, the beast itself is a desire, is an intention, and that is the intention to rule over, it is the intention to have dominion. The God of the Bible that wants to have dominion over the world is the beast. And then that beast gathers knowledge and it creates systems that will aid its intention to have dominion. And capitalism was always one of the greatest tools of the beast. Now I want to show you here how capitalism works, because again the comment said, the problem is fiat currencies. No, that is just a tool that they use. It is just another tool that works within the entire framework of capitalism. It's only a part, and it is not the main problem. So, capitalism, how does it work? And it is not a new phenomenon, I hate that word, that it just recently came into being. It was always in this world. The church was capitalist. Monarchies are capitalist. Yeah, it takes on new forms, but the system itself remains the same. So, okay, let me tell you how this works. The first step of capitalism is that something draws the wealth of the environment onto itself. The church did that. Monarchy did that, obviously. And now industry does that. Captains of industry do that. They are the new capitalists, but as I said, the system remained the same. So you draw the wealth of the environment onto yourself. They're not creating anything out of nothing, sorry. But they're taking it by drawing it out in to themselves from everything else around them. And a thing that aids them, obviously, is the concept of ownership. That you can accumulate material wealth through ownership. Now, by drawing all the wealth onto one point, onto one person, it creates a state of imbalance and it creates a state of lack in the surrounding environment, because that's where the wealth is coming from. And it creates a state of imbalance and of dependency, because those who have not are now dependent on those who have, which means they can be ruled over. Those that are in lack can be ruled over. So the accumulation of material wealth does not only create the obvious outcome, which is wealth for the capitalist, but it also creates a position of power. And that is the workings of the beast system. It is elevation through the accumulation of material wealth. And it elevates you into a position of power over those that have nothing. And they have nothing because you've taken it from them. You claimed it for yourself. And you claim ownership of that which you have. And that is the beast system. Now, quite often, they will give themselves an air of benevolence, of philanthropy, that's what they call it, isn't it? Philanthropy, or charity. Now, their philanthropy, their benevolence, is usually a hidden way of getting what they want. That is to say, it is something that will serve them. Yeah? I mean, Bill Gates's philanthropy of creating vaccines is not to the benefit of humanity. Yeah, he's not doing it to benefit us, although he will tell you he is. He's a benefactor of humanity. No, he's not. And their charity is completely tax deductible. So, again, they want rulership, they want the position of power. Nothing they give or supposedly give will actually take away from them. It won't. So in given, they lose nothing. In fact, it might put them into a greater position of power. And nothing they give to us benefits us. It usually doesn't. And whoever is on benefits or has ever been on benefits, you know how the system works. They give to you with the one hand and they take away with the other. You know, whatever you're given in one place will be taken away somewhere else, so you will never get anything more through their beneficial ways. You will never get anything more. But again, we are in a position of dependency. We're dependent on the powerful ones. We always were. From the beginning of this system, were those that had not dependent on those that had. And then the last thing is obviously that does not only apply to material wealth, although there it becomes most obvious to us because we can see the material. Yeah, everybody understands the material, even if they don't understand the spiritual, they will see the material. So there it is, the most obvious. But it does apply to knowledge. Yeah, the withholding of knowledge also puts you in a position of power. They gather knowledge. And again, we know that maybe more on a material level. Again, many know it on a material level when they say the likes of the Vatican has got tons of writings stored underneath the Vatican. So you're looking at the material books, but what they're actually storing is knowledge that they are withholding from those. That they have taken that knowledge out of their environment. They didn't find it themselves. Yeah? They burned those, they destroyed those that found the knowledge, and they took ownership of that knowledge. Again, taking it out of their environment, storing it onto themselves, and creating a lack. Again, creating a lack of knowledge in their environment. A complete imbalance. Again, knowledge is power. Through knowledge, you have power over those that don't have it, that are in ignorance. So again, the beast system works both in the material and in the spiritual. And it works exactly the same way. Through the accumulation of wealth by the few, material or spiritual, or knowledge, and withholding it from their environment and creating a state of lack. And that has been done, I say, the systems had many different names. Or the capitalists had many different names. They called themselves the church appointed by God, by the will of God. Well, I mean, they may have been, because the God of the Bible is a capitalist. The beast is a capitalist. Obviously, it wants dominion, it wants everything for itself. It wants to have complete power. That is capitalist. So it was a church and obviously kingship coming from there, which is also capitalist, ruling over others, and in many cases creating lack in their population that they ruled over. Again, both lack in knowledge and in material wealth. And I said, this is a new system now, where it's industry, captains of industry, the new capitalists. that draw the wealth onto themselves and create slaves. So that is the beast system. The beast itself is the desire to have dominion, to rule over, to be elevated over the rest. That is the beast. Again, let me talk one more. I wanted to say something about communism. Now, again, from all according to their ability, to all according to their needs, which I think is the law of this world, is the law of nature. Whether we can achieve that or not is a completely different question. But people have been driven into this idea of democracy versus communism, yeah, which you're actually comparing apples and pears. They are not incompatible. As I said, communism would be the desired outcome. Again, there is no rulership. That is getting out of capitalism, out of the system of rulership, into a web of life, where everything gives and where everything receives what it needs, what it actually needs. In capitalism, a lot of people do not receive what they need. So that is actually the desired outcome, a world that is being created, a new system in the world. Actually, it's not a new system. I said it is the system of nature. It's already here. We're just not doing it. We're operating in a different system. Now, again, how should that be achieved? Through systems of governance that were those that work as, not the rulers, but as the servants to everything else. Those that have the greatest knowledge should be the greatest servants to everybody else. That is what Jesus said. Well, they are actually always working toward that goal. Whatever decision is being made, does it give to all? Does it receive from those that can give? Does it give to all? You know, those that are in governance should always have that goal in front of them. That is what they want to achieve in the outcome. Not to rule over, but that. And then democracy would be a way of governance by which you could achieve communism. Yeah? Democracy would actually be a tool that would lead to communism. It's not one or the other. Yeah, they're not incompatible. One is the way. Democracy would be the way to communism. Communism being the outcome, the desired outcome. A republic, the structure of a republic could lead to communism. Now, dictatorships or monarchies are the most unlikely to lead to that outcome because they are pyramid systems and they usually serve the beast. It is the beast system, and it will create what it creates. Even if you have a good king or somebody who takes power with the best of intentions, it will not last, especially not if it becomes hereditary, because those that come after them, will maybe not be as benevolent as their predecessors, and the whole thing will go back into dictatorship, pure and simple dictatorship. You're being ruled over. And it's really, I think it is a case of, once you are in a position of power, what do we say? Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I mean, I think as humanity we have experienced that often enough to say that is a truth. So no, dictatorships or monarchies are highly unlikely to lead to communism, which is when you see the rise of communism in the most recent rise of communism, and see the prophet of communism, Karl Marx, yeah, then you see what he was doing, because he said to the proletariat, build a dictatorship. yeah, which was highly unlikely to lead to communism. So they were taken out of one pyramid system, which had the Tsar in Russia and the Tsar in front and on top of them, and they built a new pyramid system. And it really was the field of dreams. Once you build it, they will come, because what ruled in the system that the proletariat built in the end was not proletariat. The proletariat built the structure, and they came, once it was built, they came to rule in it. That's what always happens. So yes, capitalism is the beast system. It serves the will to have dominion, because it puts you in a position of power, not just material wealth. It actually puts you in a position of power over those that have nothing. And they have nothing because you have taken it from them. And the same applies on the spiritual. The accumulation of knowledge and the withholding of knowledge leads to a position of elevation and power. And that is the beast system. As I said, communism is something that we should strive toward. I really think it is something we should strive toward in some way. That should be our end goal. And then, it is not, then you can't have democracy. No, democracy is a political system that could serve the outcome of communism. So could a republic. They are not incompatible. They can absolutely give to one another. They can be put together. They're not opposites. Anyway, here, I leave it at that for today. It is really a case of we have to have our eyes open to the truth of what it is we're in and what it is we're doing. The truth of self. And every individual part needs to wake up for the whole to change. Because in the end, the power is with the masses. If the sheep start running as they herd to a different direction, there's nothing powerful can do. They just get trampled when the stampede happens. We just need to make sure we're running into the right direction and we know what it is we're doing. Anyway, I will leave it at that for today, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.